So yesterday we built the world's largest poop pile. That's
Well,
right.
at least here.
Cookie even enjoys me saying that. Yes, at least for us. And we got a compost temperature probe. Curious to see what the temperature is now and what it'll be later. So outside temperature is 40 something. Let's see if it's heating up yet.
Your little temperature probe there looks very tiny in that big pile.
Big pile. They make ones that are like 4 feet long. It's already warmer than outside temperature. It's in the 50s now. I'd say 52, 54. So I want to let this sit for at least another day. And then at some point tomorrow, I'm going to come over here and stir it and see if that'll help aerate it and get it going better. I'm just curious to keep an eye on it and see if it gets activated. So I'll take it out and I'll show you. This tells you how hot your compost is. So when it gets that steady, active, the active range is when the compost is actively composting. Steady is okay. And then the gray zone, hot, is when it's getting too hot and you need to turn it or add water to it to cool it off because you don't want to get it too hot and burn up all the good bacteria. So it's kind of like a good sweet range you want to be at. So we'll keep an eye on this.
That's one thing that I've wanted, is to have a really good compost pile.
So what we have in here, we have a lot of bedding from the cows. So we use wood shavings, we use hay, there's manure, urine, we have chicken poo, shavings, food scraps. We'll have some goat poo in here, maybe some pig, but not a lot. It's mostly cow and chicken manure. And then hay and wood shavings. And we switch up our bedding between hay and wood shavings so that way we have a better ratio for composting. If you have a lot of wood, to me, in my mind, that's kind of a lot of carbon, too much. So if you have hay, it's a lot more green and it's gonna compost faster. So we'll just keep an eye on it. We're almost up to 58 degrees now. We need to take a ride up to Gina's secret garden area and see what it looks like up there, because we need to start building her garden. We need to see what we need to do. We might have to mow some grass down, put some tarps down. So let's take a ride up there and see what we're in store for.
Whoa. This area right here is going to be where I start the main part of the garden. So I'm going to do this organically, start probably kind of small, and then keep adding on.
All right, time to get the Kubota fired up for the first time this year. This is our tractor that's got the belly mower. And it's always been great for mowing. Gotta go fuel it up. That had more fuel in it than the fuel gauge said. It said it was on E, but I don't think it took more than a gallon or two. That's one thing it seems like is the gas gauges on a lot of these equipment stick after a while. The excavator, that gas gauge or fuel gauge, hasn't worked since we got it. This one has been sticking for a couple of years now, so I don't know if the diesel fuel gums it up or what. But now we can head on up and start mowing. I know it's getting to be nicer weather when we break out the old Kubota, mowing season and stuff like that. So I'm getting the itch now. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure where a lot of you guys live, it's a lot nicer, greener. For us, we're just starting to get to the growing season. Still not garden planting weather yet, but we're getting there. All right, so we gotta lay out the garden. We're gonna go 30 feet and we're gonna figure out our distance. I think for now we're gonna go down, go out 30 and we'll go down to where it starts to drop off. see what that distance is. If it's too long, we won't go that far, but let's see what we got. So if we go 30, so that's 28, 30 right here. Bam. Okay. Good boy, Brutus. Tell me when to stop.
Probably right there. Where are you at?
40. All right, and I'm just gonna roughly mark out that corner, then I know what to make sure we prepare and mow and get ready.
Yeah. So we're gonna start 30 by 40, which is 1,200 square feet. And then I can also extend. So we're gonna be putting wheat fabric down and then my raised garden beds on it. I can always extend all different directions. So I'm gonna start with this area.
Gonna do some mowing in this general area. I'm gonna mow it high, mow off all the little roots, and I'll come back and I'll mow it shorter. And I'll probably mow bigger than the garden area, so that way at least this area is all trimmed up and we won't have any issues working.
Uh-oh, shutting it off. Haven't even got really too far.
I think the old Kubota needs to go into the workshop. I was hearing some rattling noise. I stopped and there should be 4 bolts sticking up with nuts on them. I have 2 bolts. I found one, missing one, no nuts. And then I was just looking in here. This gearbox has 2 bolts on each side. This side's missing one, and the second one on this side is loose as a goose. So we have all of our bolts on this side and nuts, and this gearbox on this side is good. So we gotta repair the other side.
King of the Rock.
Let's bring the 574 up there. We got the flail mower on back there. I was hoping to be able to do it with the Kubota because the Kubota doesn't weigh as much. So it's still a little muddy in spots, or wet, I should say, not muddy. So I don't want to cause mud, but we need some repairs to do. I can't complain. I've had that Kubota, I think, since 2012 or 2013. And I've only ever had to do like belt replacement and greasing and blades and some bolt replacement on that mower deck. So it's been a good mower for us.
You broke it?
Good luck today.
You broke it?
I just saw my belt smoking.
Uh,
I saw smoke coming out of where the belts are, so I shut it down quickly. Last time we had that happen, a rock had gotten jammed up inside and stopped this. There isn't one now, but I do see this. So this might have been stuck in there. And I bet you it was. Like right here, I can see rock dust and I can see we're pinched. And what happens is it stops this from rotating, but the belts are still going around and around and around. So I do need to make sure I order a spare set of belts, so if we ever blow them, because I'm sure we will, that we have them on hand. One of the reasons I wanted to do it with the Kubota is it's still pretty wet up here, and the Kubota just being a lot lighter machine, we wouldn't have to worry about mud, but it's working a lot better than I thought it would. So hopefully we didn't damage nothing and we can get this area done. Let's see if this works now. It won't do nothing. All right. I can move that all by hand. That's free, so we should be good now. Yeah. Oh.
What?
I broke a shear pin on this. That's why this is spinning. It sheared off that bolt so we wouldn't ruin our belt. So now I need to get a new bolt. The bolts and nut spin is going to save us today. I'm going to use our gauge over here to see what we need for a diameter. I know it's metric. All right, so we need an M10. So let's go M10. We'll grab a 40 and a 50. Yeah, and then we're gonna grab M8, M10. We'll grab a flat washer. Actually, grab a nut, a flat washer, and a lock washer. M8, M10.
What about tools?
Yep, I'll grab a wrench and a ratchet. And that should get us up and running.
Now you're gonna fix it?
Now we gotta fix it. I'm glad we got the bolts and nut spin because that saved our bacon. Makes it a 10-minute job instead of a hour or 2-hour job.
Making me hungry talking about bacon.
All right, here we go. We're free. Let's see if we can finish mowing and get your fabric laid out.
Yeah, I know. This is taking way longer than we thought.
Right?
I thought we'd have that fabric already laid down. You know, that's how it goes. But
I think it's that thing too. It's like the first big spring project with equipment that you really haven't used a lot of the stuff over the winter. So you start working and you just start having your spring breakdowns. Thinking it's a good thing we don't have a rototiller because I'd be getting the rototiller out right now and just trying to till this up and see what happens, but we don't own one, so we don't got to worry about doing that.
I also want raised beds.
I know. That's why I said it's a good thing we don't have a rototiller because I'd be in here with the rototiller trying to till this up to see what it's like because that's some pretty nice soil. I think that area over there will be a good spot for an orchard and blueberries. We'd like to do apples. We got to figure out what we can get for pears, and I don't think we can do peaches up here. Pears are iffy. And then see what we can get for nut trees. If we can get like hazelnuts and chestnuts and stuff like that, maybe. Probably not do those up here, but it'd be nice to be able to get different trees all over the property. I'm gonna roll it, and then you can tell me what direction we need to go when I get to the end.
So that way it's more flat, not tipping, yeah.
One down, many more to go. Putting quite a few staples in it because we don't want to worry about it blowing off on us because that would not be fun coming back up here at some point and seeing it just blowing everywhere.
It looks like Al has some black on his face. I probably do too.
Yeah, your hands are pretty dirty.
Is it on my face?
No.
Yours is on your face.
Is it? All right, Gina supposedly has a meeting she had to get to. So she left me up here to finish working on her garden. I mean, get it done. All right, they say you want to overlap it a foot. Bam. Oh, sure, now you show up that I'm almost done.
Well, I should have
Big
waited.
meeting, girl. Big meeting, girl.
I should have.
Sheesh. Should have waited a little longer.
A little bit longer.
right, that's good. All right, last piece. I think it ends up being 28 feet wide. We'll have to measure it. I don't think it's quite 30. We're 2 feet from that end.
True measurements. And I can graph paper out how I want to lay my beds.
You are 28 feet 8 inches.
Wow, pretty good.
And then we'll go that way. 42.
I will be moving my current raised beds, which are Vigo, however you want to say it, up to this area. So hopefully I can kind of save, I will be able to save some of the soil. Hopefully I don't lose a lot. The bottoms I just fill with roots, sticks, stuff like that. That way I don't have to fill the whole thing full of compost, and it has a lot of good drainage, so that works really good.
All right, we've gotten a few little rainstorms since we put this compost pile out. Gotten up to 68 degrees. So I think that's pretty good. It's been sitting about a day and a half, maybe 2 days. So I want to turn it. So let me go grab the excavator. We'll get that over here. We'll get this turned. I'm looking forward to it. Might sound weird, but I don't know. I enjoy making compost. We got this big old giant rock kind of in our way. When I built the compost pile, I put it on this side of the rock. So I'm like, oh, we'll just have a place that's kind of out of the way. That rock's in the way. We kind of can't use this little corner. I never was expecting for the compost pile to get this big. So I'm gonna see if I can sit right there and then move a lot of the compost pile to this side. And then we'll flip it again and put it back over there after it's been composting for a while. So we'll see how this goes. We definitely got to figure out a nice flat central location for composting, because this is going to be a key part to the farm as we continue growing it. When you're setting up a farm or a homestead, don't get in your mind like, hey, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. At first, make stuff so it's temporary, so you can do it in different spots and see what works best for you and what works best for the land. I can already tell it's heating up. Man, is that heavy. Trying to break it up as we go. Put some manure in there, some chicken manure I should say. We already got manure. Add some brown, get this going good. Oh yeah, let's get this stirred. That is gonna make one awesome compost pile. I tried stirring it as I was stacking it to kind of mix everything in together, so making more of like lasagna. There's still some big clumps of hay and manure all stuck together, but I think that'll start composting really well. Like grass clippings by themselves with compost, they're a good green and brown. So all right, let's put the temperature probe back in there, see what it gets up to. Right now air temperature is 52. I think it was 58 when I took it up before. So the pile, there we go, was steaming a little bit when I stirred it in a few spots, but it wasn't really steaming as much as I was hoping it was going to. Temperature is already rising up to 57 degrees, so Be interesting to see what it looks like at the end of the day. All right, I cleaned off the mower deck. We're gonna take it off and we're gonna see what we need to repair this thing. I'll have to make a grocery list of what we need to order. So let me get this disconnected and then we'll pull it out. All right, we got a lock pin on this side. We need to pull out, bam, drops like that. We pull this piece out. This piece comes off the mower deck. Boom. We have this pin. If I had all the wheels and these spun freely, if you take this pin out and you swivel the wheel this way, it drags super easy out. But I'm missing a wheel here, so I really can't do that anyways. So now I need to get under there and disconnect the drive shaft. You're so close. There we go. I just do that so I can slide it without hitting anything. This is pretty sure the first time I've ever done this on a concrete slab. It's usually always outside in the gravel. But if I had those wheels spun, it would just, I mean, I could go like this and it would push, but I'm not that smart. I like doing it the hard way. That slide's pretty easy. And while I have the mower deck off, I don't know if I will, but I should relocate the fuel filter on this thing. The fuel filter, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The fuel filter is right here. It's just a cheapo little Wix fuel filter. And it's right under where the mower goes. So anytime that fuel filter has plugged up on me, it's when I have the mower deck on and then it doesn't want to run. And then it's such a pain. I finally purchased a filter and hose to relocate it to somewhere here on the frame. So that I should do before I put the mower deck back on. But let's get the Kubota out of here and we will look over the deck and see what we need to get and see what is going on. A lot of you guys are probably saying, Al, why do you still have your Kubota? I bought this thing back in 2012 or 2013. Usually what I try to do with equipment, this is how I work it in my head. So we bought this when we were living in another state and we were redoing a house. We used this tractor to do a bunch of landscaping. So instead of hiring a landscaper to do landscaping, I try to buy a piece of equipment if I have a job to do. It's like this I bought. We use this to do landscaping. So by not hiring a landscaper and doing all the jobs ourselves, we're able to pay for the Kubota. So the Kubota has been paid off for years. So that's how I justify keeping it. It comes in handy for certain jobs. It's a really good mower. Excavator, we bought that to do a bunch of projects here, like putting in our septic. We did the septic ourselves. The amount of money we saved just doing the septic with the excavator, never mind all the other projects, paid for that excavator. So now we have an excavator that's paid for, if that makes sense. So when I'm trying to do projects and I do them myself, I try to figure out, still using heat. I know you guys aren't seeing it, but she's over there trying to mount Cookie. So I'll try to do projects and get a piece of equipment, and that's how I pay for them, because what the money we're saving pays for that. Brutus, come on out. And then you always have that piece of equipment for other projects. Now we can use it to turn compost, and it's not really costing us anything. We already own it. I hope that makes sense. So when we're doing stuff like that, that's how I try to plan it, so that we can get those pieces of equipment that we need and use them later on and make life easier. All right, so let me take out one of these bolts and I'll see what size thread that is, because we're missing one. And I want to see what is up with this pulley and why those bolts are loose. All right, my guess is 12 millimeter fine. So yes, 12 millimeter, 1.25. We go to 12, but what do we have? We have M8, let's see, but we don't go to M12. All right, so now I know I need an M12 because I don't have it. 1.25 pitch. We're gonna start this grocery list. Okay, so I wanna flip this over and I wanna see if I have bent blade heads or a loose or bad barren, and that would make sense that if that might be vibrating and that's why those bolts or nuts came undone, or they just loosened up over time. One or the other. Let's get this flipped up and see what we are dealing with. Okay. They actually feel good. I was expecting to find a bad barren or something in here loose. I am not finding any of that. So if I spin this, we're not hitting anywhere. We might just be able to get away with some bolts and nuts and get this thing fixed. All right, I saved a loose bolt. I think I can figure out what it is. I just need to know what pitch. I feel like it's an 8. Yeah, it's an 8, 1.25. Do you think we got those? 8, 125. We got what we need, dude. Can you believe it? No way. All right, let's see what we can do here. Don't touch my nuts. No, those are not your snacks. No, them are not for you. Those are my snacks, not yours. I know you think they might be tasty, but they're not for you. That was a pain, but we got it. I feel good about that. It was nice not having to need to replace anything major. I'll pick up one more bolt when I'm out in town, and then before we put that back on, I want to replace or relocate the fuel filter with a new fuel filter setup, and that way we won't have to deal with problems again, hopefully. So yeah, awesome. That's a lot less work than what I thought I was going to have to do to that mower deck. Cool. Well, this is where we're going to end this video. Thanks for coming along on our homesteading journey. You guys are a huge blessing to us in our homesteading. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe, and we'll see you right back here in the next video. If you're looking to watch another video, check out this one right here. Bye.